regal estate gray, and we can match this very nicely and maybe even go a bit bolder with the gutter style and gutter coloring. As you can see here, we do have a wide variety of colors to choose from. Your other piece, make your second 45. And there you are. You must be perfect. It's so great to finally meet you and place a face to the voice that I've heard on the phone. First of all, congratulations on your beautiful new home. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It already has a lot of features that make an outstanding, distinct, and unique looking home, but since you called us, I know that you are looking to add some personal touches and maybe even fix up or perform some slight upkeep on some of the more dated features of the home, which is very common when purchasing a new home or property investment. A lot of the times there are some things that have been neglected by the previous owner, so we are the perfect solution. We are Renovation Solutions here in this region, and I am sure that you won't be disappointed by our services. Now, let's go ahead and get your information first. You do have this home paid in full, correct? No lien on the property. That's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure that we did have all of our ducks in a row, per se. All right, so no lien, meaning that you have a lot of financial flexibility and liquid assets to pay for any of the renovations or services, decor, things like that that we offer. Perfect. All right. Well, I also have indicated right here that you already applied for and had the inspection performed, correct? Perfect. Well, one of our certified inspection personnel usually come to the home and like to look around and inspect anything that is of pressing issue and that needs to be fixed or addressed before we get to any of the more extra options that we like to offer. So we will go over that inspection in just a moment and address any of the more serious issues that were found, and then we'll get to some of those things that you indicated over the phone that you would like to have updated or personalized. How does that sound? Excellent. Well, just look at this appointment as a bit of getting to know each other. I'm going to be able to get to know your home, and you're going to be able to get comfortable with me and the products that we offer. And look at your new, beautiful home as, even though it is completely finished, look at it as a blank canvas, something that you can really add your personal details and customize the options, the trim, the finishing work, which is what we specialize in. It really makes that home come together and feel personalized to you. How does that sound? I thought it would sound sublime. So let's get on to that inspection, shall we? All right, let's see here. No, that is the title information. Okay, that's not there. That is the build history information. Wait a minute. I wasn't aware that this was an original Continental. Even more impressive. Well, I should have guessed with the forest setting, but sometimes there are surprises. And here we are, right here in the inspection. So let's go over some of the highlighted sections. These are the sections that the inspector deemed pressing and urgent, meaning that they could cause financial hardship and structural damage to your home. So they are something that you really need to get fixed, whether you use us or another property, or try to fix the issue yourself, which is not recommended. But these things we can really highly recommend that you get booked and scheduled for repair. Now, the first thing on that urgent list was There it is, the roof. So as you can see, we do have a beautiful looking home, but without being able to get up on that roof yourself, walk across the joists, inspect the shingles and any of the drip edge work and things like that, it's hard to see any potential damage. We do get a lot of rain in this area and perhaps some snow in the colder months. So there has been some wear and tear indicated on your roof there, and it's looking like the inspector, that's right, placed your roof at about 25% lifespan, meaning that whether you choose to do so now or not, that roof is going to need repaired fairly quickly. So it's best to go ahead and get it done as soon as you move in. That way you have all of that put away and you can rest your, have your mind at ease and just enjoy living in your new home and not worry about the drips from a torrential rain or anything like that, or the freezing from snow. So if you would care to discuss the roof options, we can get there. The other urgent matter, which only 2 urgent matters, so that's actually a great sign and means that you made a great decision on this home. The other urgent matter was the gutter system. Now, gutter systems indicate a flaw or failure in the surrounding gutter work that is supposed to go right there on the fascia of the roof. As you can see, seems to be missing, so it looks like we did have maybe a brief storm or something like that that blew those gutters loose. So the gutter system includes the fascia that attaches the gutter attaches to the roof, the gutter work, of course, as well as any of the downspouts, which we like to place one on each of the 4 corners of the home, or more if there are more than 4 corners, of course. Are you familiar at all with the gutter systems or roofing, anything like that? No, not at all. Okay, not a problem. We are professional and very adept at working and taking care of all of the small little details. So you really only have to take care of the fun part, which is picking out the colors and styles and everything like that, which one thing that is really overlooked at times is how much the roof can add to the character of a building. So the color of the shingles, the style, really it's one of the largest color palettes on the exterior of a home. And then the gutters can ever so delicately accent that color with the colors of themselves. So I think you'll enjoy going through the options, and I have samples here with us. It is our motto and our method. We have the triple S system. We have the sample, structure, and secure, meaning that we sample colors and options, we select your favorite of the samples, and then we secure your estimate and scheduled visit. How does that sound? Excellent. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some of those shingle options. Let me just put that away. We will get to the real meat and potatoes of our appointment. Right here, I do have a wonderful catalog that I think you will enjoy taking a look over and glancing at the various options and shingle color and styles. Now, this is our premium option. We do have one tier above this shingle option that's more of a designer choice. I can show you a look at those as soon as we are done with the premium options here. Now, these shingles are architectural shingles, so none of the cheap 3-tabs shingles or anything like that. They will hide all of the nails that are used to secure them to the roof itself, and they will look absolutely professional and come in a variety of colors. Care to take a look? Perfect. Are you following everything enough? I know I tend to go through things rather quickly. It's just part of our way of doing things. We want to get as much of this information to you as possible. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and take a look. So let's try to find the sample page that has all of the colors included. I think you'll be impressed by the selection and variety of the colors offered. There we are. Let's go ahead and take a look. As you can see, we do have a rather large variety of colors and options that can make this home feel even more customized to you. So do you have a particular color palette or theme or vibe you are going for with this home? Kind of open to suggestion. Perfect. Well, seeing as though your home is situated ever so softly nestled within the tree line here, we do have the soft amber glow of the nearby torches, and it's a somewhat busy village here. I think that maybe we go for some neutral, earthy tones. You could go a bit bold with the, terracotta, which is sort of an orange, but that's better for some of your more desert biomes. We could go, the brown wood might be nice. It might match some of the bark on some of the trees here, especially if you get some of those pines and fir, spruce trees like that. That could look really good. More of a neutral, which then allows the exterior of the home and the siding or wood slatting to kind of be the main accent of the home. So that's one that I might keep an eye on. If you are looking or like the almost brownish color, we could also go with desert rose. Does have a bit more tan or almost orangish hue, so I don't think it's as good of a fit, but that's of course up to you. The other brown sort of option that I think might be interesting is, of course, driftwood. It does mix that nice brown, neutral, earthy tone with a bit of gray in there and almost just a dabble of burgundy. So if maybe you would like to go with a burgundy or royal brown gutter style or color, this could match really nicely. But like I said, we want to kind of use the shingle color as the base or the main palette and then build the color of the gutters around to match. So if we want to maybe change gears and go for something with a bit more pop of color, we could go colonial slate. That's always a popular choice, especially with these traditional homes here, and the two-story style. The colonial state kind of gives that regal splash of elegance and class with that burgundy red. Like I said, that might really pop. It's a bit more bold than the driftwood, and I would say just ever so slightly more neutral with the grays, a bit more gray than brown. Moving forward with that grayish hue, we do have peppercorn might be nice. Peppercorn swaps the burgundy red here in the colonial slate for more of a, I would say, greenish tan. So that actually might look quite nice with the forest setting. It has a hint of green, but not too much that would overpower and be more of a bold statement piece that's not quite as timeless. So that might be good if you would like to lean into that forest setting. The other options that I think, how could I forget estate gray? If you are looking to maybe go with something that screams class and status to those who view your home, estate gray is always a popular choice. Timeless, classic, and always appreciated, especially by the wealthy like you. So estate gray matches those bold grays with just a bit darker black, and of course some of that tan-ish color there, so quite nice. Now let's look at some of the more bolder choice. If your choices, if you are feeling a bit daring, might I present to you Midnight Plum. Midnight Plum has that dark aesthetic that really will draw out the lighter colors of your home, and the most important thing, really accentuate the glow of the torches from inside the windows or outside, and any greenery that might be stationed around, especially if you have a splash of color with the reds or yellow flowers. The Midnight Plum, that darkness of that color really makes those colors pop and really show themselves. We do have just a dash, a splash, a ever so soft drip of purple there, as you can see, just a slight, ever so slight hue that might just drift into the overall color palette as you gaze upon it, and sometimes can look different in slight adjustment of the lighting if you go from dawn to dusk, things like that. So that might look nice, but you do have to be somewhat careful with some of the other trim work, especially if you like to go for some shutters or things like that. It can clash with some of the other colors, so it's best to go a bit more neutral if you go for a bit more colorful shingle style. We do also have onyx black, very bold, as you can see, a very neutral with just slight variations of those lighter grays mixed with the dark, deep black. This is great for those similar purposes as the midnight plum, to make those colors and lighter shades of the home really pop and look good. The other really bold color that I think you could go with is maybe Harbor Blue or Williamsburg Gray, but both of these I think work just a bit better in colder climates, so I wouldn't suggest them, but we could get a bit creative and make them work. So are there any of these that really interest you thus far? Really? You are thinking about the estate gray? Well, I think that that's a very classic and elegant choice. It's going to give the kind of rustic look of the home and the nature style and surrounding area a bit of balance with the regal estate gray, and we can match this very nicely and maybe even go a bit bolder with the gutter style and gutter coloring. What do you say? All right, well, that is excellent. Let's go ahead and get that all written in. We are choosing estate gray for our color scheme, architectural. Would you like to get that scheduled as quickly as possible? I thought so. All right, we will go expedited construction. We should have that taken care of within the week. Oh, our workers are the upper class of the roofing world, so not to worry. You will be very pleased with the craftsmanship, and of course we will have your final word on the work before the payment is collected. Now let's go over the details of what's offered in your roofing package. So that roofing package does come with, or the price included does come with removal of one layer of shingles. Of course, if we do get up there and there are additional layers that have been shingled over, and it will be a bit extra, but one layer of shingle removal included. We will replace any of the decking, which is the wood or boards that go under your shingles. So if you do have any rotting or anything like that, I know the 25% lifespan of your roof currently does indicate that we might have some wet spots on that decking, but it will be replaced with 2-inch plywood. So it's only the most premium used. The cost does include 2 full sheets of plywood, so usually enough unless we have a very extensive damage to the decking. The price then includes, of course, the placement and installation of your new shingles, as well as a magnet sweep of the surrounding area of the house. Of course, that is just where we go over the surface of the ground and areas around the home with a magnet to pick up any dropped nails or pieces of metal, things that could be quite dangerous if left untreated. That way you have nothing to worry about. You just come home and your roof is finished, we're gone, and everything is as it should be. All right. So if you could just sign right here. Yes, right there. Good. Thank you. All right, well, we will get that sent off and scheduled. Now let's talk about gutter options. Since you are, of course, going with the roof replacement, I'm assuming you would like the gutter options as well. I thought so. And we can actually even give you a 10% discount since you are pairing it with a roof installation. So your lucky day. Let's go through some of those color palette choices. As you can see here, we do have a wide variety of colors to choose from. this will give you full autonomy over the selection and customization of the exterior of your home design. Of course, why invest so heavily in real estate if you can't make the home feel like yours? Who wants to live in a home that was designed by someone else, of course? Unless, like, you pay us to design one for you, that's completely different. But, as you can see, we have a wide array and variety of palettes, hues, and shades that we can go with. So, let's go over some of these, shall we? Now, if we are combining this with your Estate Gray, let me just maybe take a glimpse through. We can actually just go for a very bold choice with the gutters. It, I think, would pair nicely with the outside look of your home and would balance and really play off of the neutral look of that Estate Gray. So we could go black, or maybe, no. I don't think the browns would look very good with this one. We could really use the grays to almost match and give that monochrome that's very popular with the modern style, which just means that we take multiple shades of the same color and use it as a design feature for your home. So we could go this nice gray. This is actually considered a charcoal gray, so it, I think, would balance nicely with those darker shades of gray and the Estate Gray shingles. Okay, we'll keep that one in mind. So we have charcoal gray. I don't think the lighter cream colors would look as good. That might be an option. We do have Sierra Clay. A bit more brown in there. No, okay. Too bold. Too basic. No. Browns, I don't think. Reds, no. This might be the perfect option. This is considered Terra Bronze. As you can see, we do have just a bit of brown shade in that gray, but ever so slight that it might just blend perfectly with the wood aesthetic of your home, and then pull the gray from the Estate Gray shingles, and then just mix them perfectly. Of course, the gutters are what connects the exterior side of the home with the roof itself. Of course, the fascia will be matching, so if you do go with this Terra Bronze, the fascia, which of course is the piece that covers the front-facing section of your roof and protects it from the elements, and it allows the gutter to attach to the part of the roof itself. You'll go with the Terra Bronze. I think that's an excellent choice, and one that I don't think you will come to regret. So we will install this at the same time that we install your roof. So let's go Terra Bronze. Now we will include all downspouts, drip edges, as well as fascia. Alright, and we will get that order out. Of course, I almost forgot to put your 10%. Let's just have you sign here, here, and there. Thank you. We will get that sent to the office. That way they can file all the paperwork and get everything underway. Alright, would you care to head inside now and take a look at some of that base and casing options that you indicated over the phone that you were interested in? Perfect. Let's go take a look. Alright, well, a beautiful, beautiful interior. I knew by looking at the exterior of the home that the interior would be matching in its elegance, design, and kind of natural aesthetic. So beautiful and excellent choice. Now, you did indicate that you are overall very happy with the current design, but you would like some improvements and updating of the baseboards, window, door casing, and some of the other finish work, correct? Perfect. Well, let me just make that note. Okay, you did indicate that you would like to go for a bright white design on that base and casing options, correct? Excellent. Well, I did bring some samples with me. I have a few options for you to go over, and we'll get a few quick measurements, and shouldn't be any problem. We'll have that taken care of at a separate date. We do have a separate team that works on the interior finishing work, but it will be done, of course, within the week. Okay, let's take a look at those options. So we do have the baseboard options here. These are what will go horizontal here and along the bottom of the floor, and let the transition from the floor to the wall look a bit more elegant, look a bit more brighter and modern. So we do have several good options. This is a wonderful MDF, which is compressed particles. It's a bit more on the affordable side, since you do have quite a large interior area to go for. If you'd like to maybe save a few emeralds there, this might be the best option. We also do have a nice solid pine board here, which is a bit more long lasting and I think a bit more recommended. You'll go with the pine. Of course, the look and design is not any different. The feel and just quality of the board is really all that is unique between the two options. Of course, the same colors and options. This is the 3 1/4 width, which is recommended for more of a modern and elegant design. You could go 2" or 2 1/4, but it does sometimes look a bit cheaper, so I would go with the 3 1/4. I thought you would agree. Now, the casing is what will go vertical along the edges of your doors. It will go horizontal across the top of the door and then around any windows. Okay, now the main options that we need to discuss is how you would like the cuts and miters of your casing and baseboards to look. We have two main options. We can go 90s or 45s. I'll explain the 45s to you first. Now, if you do have a vertical and an upper piece like so on the, let's say, the top corner of a door, you cannot just simply place it like this, because you would then have the rough edge of the casing there exposed. So you can either do a 90 with a trim finishing piece to cover the rough edge, or a 45 and hide the edge with the finished edges themselves. Let's talk about that 45 first. So we would take a speed square. We will then get a 45 degree. We will measure it, and then we will just make our mark. Perfect. Then we would remove this speed square. We would cut, and then that would leave a 45-degree angle. We would then take your other piece, make your second 45. Then we would have our 45s. We would then cut this with a saw, and you would then be able to match up the corners without any of the rough edge exposed. Now, if you would like to go with a 90, which is a bit more recommended for this quality of home, and with some of your other elegant decisions, I think this would be the proper decision for you as well. Instead of using the 45 cut, which sometimes can have a bit of discrepancy, and with the sharp corners of the 45s meeting, sometimes can cause denting and damage over time. The more proper way to do it is with a 90. Now, like I explained earlier, you cannot simply have two boards meet because you have an unfinished edge. So in this situation, we would use finishing pieces here. These are accent pieces. As you can see, they have a bit more elegant and detailed designs. They are of the same product quality and makeup as the casing and baseboards themselves. These would be placed to cover the rough edges. So if we were making a corner of a door frame, this is somewhat how it would look. And notice how none of the rough edges are shown. Of course, all of this would be sealed and all of the lines would be hidden. I thought you would like that. So, 90s. I thought so. Now, with the baseboards, some of your corners similar. If you are running on a floor, we can get a little bit more creative with the 90s, because with the walls, the rough edges would be hidden, so we could go for a corner of a room finished like this. It looks fine, but if you would like to go with the more elegant decision, then we could use some of these. Proper corner accent pieces here. They are just a bit more of an extra option for finishing the corners for your baseboards. They accomplish the same thing as the casing accents. They hide the rough edges. They finish a 90-degree medium point and add just a bit of extra trim. As you can hear, that pine is of the highest quality and specifications. Now, this would be very similar. This would go on the corner. This is actually an outside corner, so if you have a wall that juts out, this would be placed here on the corner, and then your two baseboard pieces would meet like so. Quite nice. Of course, this would be cut to meet the proper height. Excellent. I thought you would go for the sensible options. Let's go ahead. We're going to go 90s on all junctions, no minor cuts, and accents for the corners. Perfect. Let's have you just go ahead and side there, there, and there. Thank you very much. All right. Well, I think that you are going to be very pleased with your selections, and I look forward to seeing the finished product when our teams and professional personnel get finished with your home. Please, if you do have any other customization options or renovations you would like done, please go ahead and utilize the Renovation Solution company for any future needs. It was so wonderful to meet you, and please enjoy the rest of your evening. I might even take an extra look around the exterior of the home just on my way out. It's just such a beautiful property. Excellent. Oh, care to show me around? Perfect. Let's head that way.